Hello everyone, welcome to Maria's Ideas Art, where we show our volunteer cable TV show on Bethel Park Cable TV, BPTV. We film it each month at Johno's Art Studio and Maria's Ideas at the top of the Southside Slopes in Pittsburgh, where I started my business there 43 years ago. So we're still in the same location, but I love to teach, I love to help inspire others. Anyone can learn how to draw and paint, it just takes practice. So what we're doing here, we are in episode 27, and I designed the piece for each month to reflect maybe an interest or something that the guest, if there's a guest or my co-host is interested in. My co-host is Alan Levine, and this is inspired by his little cat, Little 8. So what I am using here, this is just a piece of paper, but because you may want to draw it first and then transfer it to your canvas. You may want to draw right on your canvas. It's up to you. If you want to do this where you're drawing it first, you can get graphite paper. Okay, it's like carbon paper for older people. You may remember carbon paper. You draw it on the paper first, and then you lay it on top of your surface that you're going to paint, and you just draw over the design. The transfer paper's in between. You lift it off and you have your design. You can also scribble on the back of a design with the graphite, and that usually rubs off. You can do it with that, or you could also do it with chalk. But for the people that don't have the transfer paper, you can get that. It's very inexpensive. You can use it over and over again. You can just draw it right on your canvas. Now, if you want to pretend this is your canvas and we're just drawing right on our canvas, I would highly recommend using a watercolor pencil if you don't have a watercolor pencil, because that will reactivate and melt into your paint so you don't see the lines. If you just have a regular graphite pencil, just do it lightly so that it won't show too much. So I am going to use watercolor pencils and color pencils and just make it a little darker just so you could see it. But so what I'm doing is I'm starting with this. I printed this out, the painting that we did, and you want the proportions to be similar. This one's slightly taller, and that's fine because it's the background. That's not really going to interfere with how we're doing this. This is to scale something larger. We could do this if this picture was a little tiny wallet size. This will still work. It's the key is the proportions need to be similar. So what you can do if you have a picture that you're working with, what I did here was I folded it in half and then in half again, vertically and horizontally. And then I drew the lines. They're slightly off, but again, they're close enough. Okay, this is just to help you get the basic design. Most of the details and proportion fixing and shaping, that gets done whenever we are painting. But what we're going to do here, now what you do on the surface, you create equal parts, the same thing that you have on your drawing, whatever size that is. And in your piece that you're drawing on, can be any size as long as the proportions are similar. So what I'm going to do, you can use a tape measure, you can use a ruler. I just do it, kind of eyeball it. So I'm going to put a little mark that's halfway horizontally, and then I'll divide that in half again. And you could do more, sections too. This is just enough for the size that we have. So we have these lines. So now I'm going to, if you create the dots, the top and the bottom, then as you're drawing, your eye will see that and you can give you the direction of where you're going. Again, I'm doing this darker so that you can see it, okay, better. So let's just draw a line here, and then we'll draw one here and here. And then we will, horizontally, we will create our little marks in half and half again. And like I said, this works with anything, any size, anything you choose to work with. So now we have whoops, they're not exactly equal, are they? But again, that doesn't matter too much up there because that's just the background. The other thing, when we were in high school, our teacher used to cut our erasers off our pencils. We had to just work with what we had, get creative, and just kind of learn how to, I don't like to say there are mistakes in art. You just learn how to work with what you did and use your creativity and your imagination sometimes. All right. So now we have the same amount of rectangles. Whoops, my little light changed. Okay. So now I'm going to take a different color just so it shows up a little better for you. I'm going to use I'll use this brown. So now I'm going to look at this picture, and I'm going to start in the center and work my way out. So, and the other thing I want to do, let's see, I will do this with red. When you're drawing something, anything, break it down into shapes. So you can see this cat's head like an oval. You have triangles. You have just, it's very simple, okay, very simple shapes. So don't get worried about, oh, it's a cat, I can't draw a cat. Just look at it as shape, geometric shape. So now, I'll use the same red here instead. So on the smaller one, we can see if this is the halfway point in these two sections here, these rectangles. If I put a same mark right about in there, I know that's right above his eyes. I can tell then from that point up until between this and the top, that's another about halfway. So just put little indications of where, just roughly, that gives you the size. And then this lower portion where his little chin is right about this line. You don't have to do this, but if it helps, you can just freehand just do an oval, but it just might give you some sense of size. So then, okay, that gives me, again, this is rough. It's just a guide to draw this, and then you tweak it as you go. So that would be the cat's head. Then you come in, and I could see here, the one ear starts below that. It's right about, it's about halfway. So it's right, the lower part, it's coming up and almost to the top. Okay, so again, we're just roughing in the shape of the cat, and you can do something like this, okay? And then this head is down in here. As you paint it, it will come to life. This is just to get the basic shape. It comes out a little more. We can even do this with the oval itself. You can put these marks, and that shows that's the eyes. Okay, the placement of the eyes are here. Oh, that's my phone. There's not a little bird in here. That's the placement of the eyes. And then we have little nose. So again, this just helps placement, proportion, and like I said, you can tweak it as you paint it. But again, this just, all the details, everything come together as you are painting. You can make the ears bigger or larger. You can create a little more fullness here and there. Again, this just helps you lay this out. Now you come down, bring this down here, and this, the corner of this box is right above this area here, and it's a little bit to the right. So I'm going to put that point here. This other connecting, let's see, I'm going to go with this lower one. This one is over in this area here. So you just connect these, it's like connecting dots, and then it just helps you, like I said, it helps you just get the proportions of everything. I've done murals in the Pittsburgh area for 30 years, and I do the same thing on the walls. I'll just mark some areas on the wall after I draw my grid on my paper. And this doesn't have to be exactly the same. Make it your own. When I teach classes, I strive for more individuality and inspire my participants to just kind of make it their own. Get creative. You can even mix the colors differently, and I do like to teach that way when we have the show too. But so don't get too frustrated if it doesn't look exactly the same as what you're trying to do, or to make it exactly the same as what I'm doing, because that's not the goal. The goal is to have fun and make it your own, and everyone has their own style. Even if you don't realize it, you do. So all right, so that gives us our box. Again, we can fix it and fix the cat. We just want to get some basic shapes. This is basically a triangle, you know, just two little lines, and then everything else will get finished when you paint it. Now this, say the box is in a corner of a room, I didn't put the line as if the corner of the wall was there. I didn't want to interfere. I wanted most of the artwork, or the the focus to be on the cat. It could be on a table, it could be on a floor. So this is just an indication of that. Okay, and then we have our shadows. Our light source would be coming from here because our shadows are coming this way. And you can certainly make it, change it up, whatever, but if you wanted it to be similar to what we're painting, so there you have the design. Now, if this is on your canvas, then you just ignore these lines. If you used a regular pencil, you can just erase the grid lines. Just work with this here. If you transferred it, you'd only be transferring the design itself. You would not be transferring the grid. And that's your design. So you can see it's just shapes. You can see why math maybe helps in your geometry and all, but whenever you're working from something to, like I said, it does not have to be exactly the same. Just play with it, have fun, and then as you paint, you'll bring it to life. So that is our little tutorial for episode 27. You can watch the video. I will be uploading that shortly. And we hope you'll subscribe and come back each month. So our next guest is going to be a woman that owns a Local Good. It's a local business that helps support local artists, and we network and inspire each other and promote each other's work, which is really something special. So thank you again for joining us, and happy painting, and follow the pickle, right? Follow the pickle. Okay, thanks.